Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited because today I'm gonna be talking about my career journey, how I became a paramedic, how I became a firefighter, my whole career journey, because a lot of you guys voted on my poll on Instagram and versus the fitness versus that, you guys chose this. So maybe it'll give you a little bit of insight, education, things to maybe think about or paths to go. I also did write down a couple time periods that I do want to remember to touch on so I don't miss anything. So I will also have that. But without further ado, let's get started.
Hold up.
So basically, I started thinking that I wanted to go into the public service field when I was a teenager, early teenager. It's something that has run in my family for a long time. Lots of police officers, military, and firefighters. I originally actually wanted to be a police officer. I lived in Florida. I went to 3 different high schools, New York, Florida, and Montana. And I was in Florida my sophomore year of high school, and they had an Explorer program for young police prospects that I had a friend that was going to. And she said, hey, you should come to this. I really liked it. I was so convinced that I was gonna be a police officer. I moved to Montana in 2009 with just my mom and my sisters, and I went to the police station locally and I asked them if they had a program like the one I was in Florida. And they said no, and I asked, would you be interested in maybe starting an Explorer program? And they said no. I was really bummed. I didn't really have friends here yet or anything to focus on, so I walked outside, and at City Hall there was a sign that said the fire department was upstairs. And I thought to myself, well, it's probably pretty close to something in public service that maybe I could try it out. So I went upstairs, talked to the police chief or the fire chief, and asked him if they had an Explorer program. He said no. And then I was kind of discouraged. I said, would you be interested in making one? And to my surprise, he actually said yes. So when I was 16, I started a Fire Explorer program at the local fire department in my town. The fire truck used to pick me up on Thursdays. I used to go to fire academy with them. I basically trained there, spent my time there, basically learned everything that there was to know about fire. And sophomore year passed, and then I was in junior year of high school and was still volunteering at the fire department. There was a running start program that was offered through my school for taking college courses at night at the college locally. So I actually ended up signing up for my EMT class as a junior in high school. I was 16, turned 17 that January. So I signed up for the Running Start program. The EMT course was just 1 semester. It was Tuesday and Thursday nights from 6 to 10 p.m. So I actually used to go to high school all day, then I would go to soccer practice, then I would go to my college course at night. And I ended up finishing that. I did go through fire academy with the fire department, although I wasn't 18, so I couldn't really do much with it. But I finished that, and then my senior year of high school came around, and I decided to get my prerequisites out of the way. So I ended up doing basic anatomy and physiology, which was one of the prerequisites, and medical terminology. So I took courses my senior year of high school at the college, again, when I wasn't in school or playing soccer, which enabled me to enlist into the paramedic program that next fall. So I got all the prerequisites done out of the way. You had to have your EMT and you had to have the basic AMP to even apply to the paramedic program. And then obviously there was prerequisites to the degree that I would do once I was accepted to the program. The one thing I will say is if you are thinking of taking an EMT course before you are out of high school or under the age of 18, you can't actually test for your national registry and be a licensed EMT until you graduate high school or have a GED and until you turn 18. So I actually had to have a high school GED or diploma to apply for my license. I will say it was almost 2 years by the time I had taken the course and then had to take the National Registry skills and written test, which I passed both on the first try. So I had to study for 2 years and I was completely out of practice. But if you were thinking of going that route, I will just caution you that you will have quite a bit of time out of school before you can test. And it is a lot of stuff, so. So I actually was working as an EMT while I was in paramedic school. So that way I was actually getting practice in the field and getting experience while being in my paramedic program. And I could put all the things I was like learning into use and just get better at patient care. A lot of people ask me, would you recommend being a EMT before just jumping right into the medic program? And honestly, it's up to you. I would say experience would be great, but I was able to do it and I felt confident and I felt fine. So if it's something that you're really passionate about and you don't want to have to work as an EMT for years before you join the paramedic program, just go for it. I worked as an EMT while I was in the medic program. I also worked at a clinic as well, part-time, an urgent care clinic, and that helped me a ton with patient history taking, vitals, learning different medications. So definitely a background in like working in an urgent care or clinic was very helpful to the field. Another thing that I did at this point in time was I taught the EMT skills at the college for the EMT courses while I was in paramedic school. So I was also teaching skills on the side. I taught for different courses. I was the lead instructor when I finally got my paramedic. I was the lead instructor for the EMT course for a few semesters. Taught skills. I also tested tons of students through the national registry tests as they came about. So I got really involved in teaching. I did get my lead instructor endorsement on my license as well. I graduated paramedic school in 2013. Mine was a 2-year program at the time. 1 year was basically prerequisites, and then the other year was all of our clinicals and that kind of stuff. So 2-year program of paramedic school. I got an associate's in paramedicine, and I actually got pregnant when I was 20 years old, and I went into labor on my last clinical shift with my first daughter 2 weeks before graduation. I birthed her, and then I showed up for class the next night, and I graduated 2 weeks later. Took my national registry test, successfully passed my skills and written for paramedic on the first try, and next thing I knew, I was being thrown into the medic world on a bus. I actually started volunteering at another local fire department that was closer to where I had moved at the time, and I definitely would recommend volunteering at a fire department or some type of agency while you're in school or trying to learn. It helps you get your foot in the door, but also helps you get real-time experience that maybe not a lot of the other students are getting at that point in time. While I was volunteering on a fire department and also then working as a paramedic, I decided to join the Fire Academy. So I joined Fire Academy, which probably was like 2015 or something. Joined Fire Academy, and at this point in time, I had another daughter, so I had 2 girls at this time. Was in Fire Academy. I was not with their dad anymore. I was a single mom. And I balanced going to Fire Academy, working as a paramedic part-time, working at a clinic, and all of the in-between. I finished Fire Academy, graduated from that, and I didn't have a job opportunity at the time. I was just volunteering and then making money part-time, just covering shifts here and there. But I definitely would say that volunteering first helped me get my foot in the door and getting a full-time position, because I was putting in so many hours and just showing that I wanted to be there, wanted to learn, wanted to work. So when the opportunity came up for me to actually have a more full-time position, I was offered it and I took the position. So I basically worked as a firefighter paramedic for years. Currently, to this day, I've been a medic since 2013. That's when I got my medic license. Those of you who are not really familiar with my story, I urge you to go and maybe research it or something. Vice wrote an article about it, but I am still working today anyways as a paramedic, not full-time, just part-time, because I have had other passions of being an entrepreneur and launching my own business. So I'm really excited about that. A few of the frequently asked questions I get is, how do you do it as a single mom? I definitely had a really hard time. I would say family and friends were my main reliable source on even being able to do Fire Academy and work 24 or 36-hour shifts while having children. The downsides definitely of the career were having to work holidays and miss like Christmases or Thanksgiving with my family and my kids, working overtime, trying to find people to take them to and from school, be home with them when they're sick, getting time off or vacation was very difficult for me. And then on top of that, there's a lot of continuing education that goes into maintaining your licenses and certifications, so it can get pretty expensive as well as time consuming. Advice that I would give to women looking to go into this field, or anyone actually, women and men, definitely volunteer, get your foot in the door, start working in the field as quickly as you can, even if you have to volunteer your time. We all start from the bottom. So if you're looking to get a job, that definitely shows that you want to be there and you want to pursue this career, and just shows that, you know, you're willing to put the work in. And then, the biggest advice that I would give to women in this who want to pursue this field is definitely take your fitness journey seriously. I was a little beanpole, like 120 pounds, soaking wet when I first started. I did have 2 kids. I was very weak. Academy was not too bad for me because I had started working out at that point, but I could not have imagined if I were to start the academy just a year or 2 prior to that. But definitely get strong for the job. You're not just gonna need it to get through academy, but it's gonna make your life easier in your career, and you wanna be taken seriously and be able to take care of your partners if anything were to ever happen. So I cannot speak for everybody on this, but I just know my own local and state protocols and like the laws in my state. But basically how it works is, to become a paramedic, you have to do an EMT course first. And the EMT courses, as far as I know around here, are just 1 semester long at the college. You do the EMT course, and then you have to pass the class, and then you have to do a National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians, so NREMT. And then you have to do a NREMT, which is the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians. You have to do their skills test, which all the hands-on stuff that you learned, and then you have to do their written exam. Once you do that, you will be certified by the NREMT, and then you can take that certification and apply for your state's licensure. That's how it works in my state. I have to renew my license every 2 years, as well as my NREMT. Most places are optional. You do not have to renew your NREMT, but I highly, highly recommend it in case you are ever to get audited. It's so much easier, or if you were to move to another state, it just makes things so much easier. It is expensive to have to renew those things, but you have to have a certain amount of certifications depending on where you work in order to even maintain your licensure. As far as being a firefighter, I'm not familiar with how it works in a lot of other places, but in Montana, at least where I was, I didn't have to. Okay. As far as becoming a firefighter, I don't know what it's like in like maybe other states where it's not like it is in Montana, but basically I had to go through a fire academy that was for my fire department. If I were to work somewhere else, I would probably have to go through their fire academy that they put on. But some states allow you to just take the CPAT, which is like the physical fitness test, and you can just use that. I guess it depends on department and state. But I had to go through the fire academy to work at the fire department that I was at to get my firefighter 1 and 2 certifications, and take wildland courses, like all that stuff. So I did all of that just through the department that I was at because I was already affiliated with them. However, if you're not affiliated with a department, it's probably going to be a lot harder for you to get your foot in the door and to get the things that you need just being like on your own. I definitely would say check out all the resources that your agency has. Mine has opportunities for me to take my tests, to do certain certifications if I want it, to go to conferences if I want. So yeah. Hopefully some of you guys will actually hear my full story someday. I've been through a lot, especially at a young age. If you are a female who is even slightly pretty or fit, or maybe not even that, you're just young and eager to be in this career, you are going to deal with drama. And unfortunately, it doesn't always come from the people who you'd think it would come from. It's gonna come from like the other guys' wives or other jealous women in the department or even intimidated men. And it's very unfortunate that it is the way that it is, but I have a long history of dealing with sexual discrimination and harassment in this field. And my number one advice for women out there is take no shit. Do not take any shit. I did it when I was 16 because I didn't want to say anything and I didn't want to be the problem, and it didn't work out well for me. Now at this age, I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to call you out on it and I'm going to tell everybody what you said and did. So take care of yourselves. Do not let things go, women. Ladies, speak up for yourself. Don't let men walk all over you. Don't allow them to sexually harass you. Don't allow them to discriminate against you. You are there as an equal and you are there to do your job. So that's my main advice for women out there who want to go in this field. It's just be prepared for it. Don't be naive. I didn't have anyone to tell me that going into it. So, hopefully I can pave a new way for other females out there that are and give them advice on it, because I didn't have that when I was 16 years old. And I wish that somebody would have taken me aside and told me those things and mentored me, but I didn't. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it was a little bit informative to you on just the process or like what to do or how to go about getting into this career field, and then just a little bit of advice for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. Let me know of if there's anything else you want to see more of, maybe more specific topics that I can help you guys out with. But hopefully this gave you a little bit of insight, and yeah, have a great day, Saturday.